Hi there, I'm Liz Hocker, and I'm the Managing Director of New Listings and Capital Markets at Nasdaq. We are here today at Silicon Slopes Summit with Owen Fuller, the CEO of Marq. Owen, thank you for coming over here and visiting with us today.
It is so great to be here with you and to be here with you again. We so appreciate Nasdaq being a part of the Utah community. This is our big event every year, and it means the world to us to have you and so many others from around the country and around the world here with us in Utah today. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I mean, we always feel so welcome here, and we just love this thriving community of entrepreneurs and businesses that are, and we come back year after year to visit with you all. And in fact, this is not the first time we've done this interview.
That's right. Yeah, we were here a year ago, and of course, it's been an amazing year for us, despite everything going on in some cases in the, the economic front or, kind of on a macroeconomic level. It's been a really amazing year, and we are thrilled to be back here again. And, just like you said, it's kind of this fascinating checkpoint that we have with both the community at large and then our company. I was just backstage with some investors of ours, talking about this journey over the last year, and it's a fun time to be together and reflect a little bit and talk about what's next.
Absolutely. Well, I would love to get an update from you on how the past year has gone, but maybe just even a step back a little bit more and maybe just revisit the story of Marq. I know a year ago you were not known as Marq, so let's talk about that too.
Yeah, that's right. We were formerly known as Lucid Press, so our story is one that is a little bit unique. We started out in a company called Lucid Software, which is one of the great companies of Silicon Slopes. Of course, they're my former colleagues and dear friends. Lucid Press, the company that is now Marq, was the second product that was created there, along with Lucid Chart, which is a great platform which now powers 99% of Fortune 500 companies. But as we were growing at Lucid Press, and I was leading that part of Lucid Software, we felt like we'd be better off on our own, despite the fact there's so much good happening there, that if we had our own entity and we could get our own funding and we could invest in the business in a little different way, that we could do something really special. And it kind of worked out that we had the investment partners, and the board was very supportive of what I wanted to have happen. And so we did this deal in May of last year that we announced, where we carved out Lucid Press, we made it independent, and then we also funded the business at that time as well. And it's been a great year of growth and progress, and there's a lot of transition when you do a deal like this. The last part of that transition, really was the rebrand. So of course, moving out of Lucid Software, we didn't have Lucid in our name anymore. We've become Marq, M-A-R-Q, Marq.com. You can find us there. We're so happy about the brand, so happy about the progress of the business, and thrilled to be fully independent, to go kind of claim the future that we think is possible.
Right, a beautiful brand launch and everything else.
Yeah,
it was fun to watch.
Well, thank you, and thank you also to Nasdaq. It was great to be there in New York on the day that we announced, and to be there with you. That was really a special part of the experience for our whole team.
Yeah, it was very cool to have you in New York to do that. So talk to me about Marq. Okay, so I've heard this whole thing about the way you do storytelling, and sort of what kind of product are you putting out there these days, and who's finding who's using Marq tools?
Well, any business that feels like they have a great story to tell, which turns out that's most businesses. And so how do you tell your story these days? Well, usually you have a lot of people in your organization who need to create some kind of content, whether that's digital or social or print materials, whatever it may be. You have a lot of people who feel a need to create content, usually relevant content, usually content that's on multiple channels, if we're talking about it being distributed by email or on social media, or posted, a link that you can post online, all kinds of different ways. So Marq is the modern way to manage your brand, where you have all of the templates that your team needs in one place, a really easy to use design editor, so that anybody at the company, not just professional designers, can get in and adjust what they need to adjust. But the great thing is, for the creative or marketing team who's administering this and kind of rolling it out to the company, they can set controls on these templates so that people can't mess them up. You can tie in data streams, you can set guardrails, you can lock or partially lock things down. So if you're the marketers, you can be confident that everybody in your company is creating things that are on brand, that are very high quality and that are effective, and you can actually track that effectiveness. So that's what we do. We power the content creation for many of the best brands in the world, and especially larger teams and companies.
That's fantastic. And so if I wanted to use or try out a Marq product, how would I do that?
Well, you go to Marq.com and you can always sign up there and get in to try it out. But what would be really great is, in this case, let's just use your company. I'm sure there's a lot of things that you create that you send out into the world. And,
Tons.
And sometimes you find yourself maybe, if you're not using Marq yet, like thinking, where was that thing? What? Now, I think we had an email about this a couple years ago, and you're trying to track things down, and that's really not the best way to tell a consistent brand story. The best way is to have all of your up-to-date templates in one place, so everybody knows that there's a repository to go to. It's connected to all the approved images or videos or other assets you want to include in that. Again, the guardrails are all there in place. It's super intuitive. So that's what we really ought to do, is we ought to get everybody at Nasdaq using Marq, so that anytime you want to create something, you know where to go, you log in, it's right there, you can send it out, it's tied into all of the right platforms that you use to do your marketing. And the idea is that it should be quick and easy, and not just for the professional designers anymore.
Yeah, I know, I agree.
Yeah.
We should definitely check it out. So, okay, you're here at Silicon Slopes.
Yes.
And you've been bouncing around the venue and watching the speakers and so on. Tell me about what you think so far, and why you're here, actually.
So this is a really special time for me. I like to say that this event is kind of the Utah Tech and Startup annual family reunion. And so you can't walk like 3 steps in the halls without seeing people that you've worked with before. And I mentioned I was just with some investors, and these are people that actually have invested in prior businesses, or there's just so many deep ties. This community has really taken off over the last decade. I started my first company all on my own here in the state in 2009, and was able to build that company and sell it, and through that experience meet a lot of people here. And now it's just overwhelming, actually, to see how now you're seeing billion-dollar company after billion-dollar company emerge here, and not just that. I think you're seeing a community that, while imperfect and with room to grow, is really committed to giving back too. There's, my good friends that are here with Brainstorm, the co-founders or principals at that company. They're doing this drive to get 1 million food kits created for people that need food around the state. That's a big part of what we're doing here at the Silicon Slopes Summit. So just a special time. Reconnect, do good. I'll speak a little later today about what we're doing and about marketing more generally. And I feel fortunate and really grateful for everybody that's made this possible.
Well, I feel really fortunate to have gotten to spend time with you today, and I really appreciate you coming by, and so we could catch up.
Yes, let's do it again soon, here or New York, wherever the case may be. Thank you so much for what you're doing and for being such a part of our community and the story here in Utah, and we can't wait to do it again.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.